So my name is Stephen Coast. I'm head of OSM at Telenav, and I'm also the founder of the OpenStreetMap project. So I started OpenStreetMap back in 2004 because there was a big lack of available map data. That's especially true in England, where I was born and where I grew up. The tools were available for us to start building our own map from the bottom up, the same way that Wikipedia had started from a blank slate and built an entire encyclopedia. When I very first started OpenStreetMap, it was very personal. Everything in the project was done for me because I wanted to do some mapping. So I had a backpack, I had a laptop in that backpack with a couple of big batteries in it, a USB GPS device hanging off the back, and then I would cycle around Cambridge, where I was, and then later in London. I'd collect these GPS traces, and then you'd have this sort of trail of dots like Hansel and Gretel leaving breadcrumbs. And then I would draw on top of these to add roads. And all of the software was just for myself, and there were all kinds of problems. The laptop would die, or I'd be cycling along and the cable would come out and I wouldn't know after 2 hours of biking around to collect data. And then as the tools matured a little bit, it seemed like it just made sense to open them up to other people and let other people start adding data. So I started these things called mapping parties. And a mapping party is where a group of people come together for a day or a weekend to map a place completely. The very first one was in a place called the Isle of Wight in the south of England. It's an island about 40 miles by 20 miles, something like that. And we had 40 people come for the weekend, and they took their GPS devices and computers, cameras, dictaphones, and we all mapped the entire island in essentially 2 days. And what this was really a proof of concept. It showed that we could seriously map a place in just a weekend using volunteers and open source tools. So the point where I knew that OpenStreetMap was a success to me was at a particular mapping party. Often I was trying to explain the project to people, and I'd ask them where they're from or a place of interest to them, and then I'd show them that place on OpenStreetMap to show them that it was a real map and that there were people mapping there. Often people would say somewhere like New York or London or whatever, and I would show them the map, zoom in, and show them that they can edit places around them to make it relevant to them. This one particular time, some guy said, well, I'm from Havana in Cuba. Let's go there. So I had to say, well, you know, while we have map data in Europe and America and so on, it's pretty unlikely we have anything in Cuba. So we zoomed in, and I was expecting to see nothing, just a blank plate, but instead everything was completely done. Every road was there were hospitals were already done, address data, everything. And that was the last time I was surprised by OpenStreetMap. After that, I don't think I could be surprised anymore. OpenStreetMap is its own reward. Once you start adding map data and you start making the world around you look more and more correct on this map, you get a sense of accomplishment from doing that, from digitizing the world into something that is now usable by millions of people everywhere. But Telenav and OpenStreetMap are sort of yin-yang partnership. OpenStreetMap has this great rich map data set. What it doesn't have is huge amounts of GPS data to improve the map, and millions of customers out there using a map every single day. When you can combine these two things and get the feedback from those customers, and there's a variety of different pieces of feedback they can give to improve that map, it helps everybody. OpenStreetMap wins and Telenav wins.